All right, guys, here we go. Let's do this. Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. I've got a story that's very interesting, and this comes on the heels of the quiet quitting movement that we've talked about for a few months now. And I think it's actually quite interesting because I did tell you a couple of months ago that industry insiders were grumbling and upset about this trend that was starting to pick up steam all over the internet. As a matter of fact, picking up steam, it already has. I've told you guys about how I quietly quit a long time ago because there was just no upward mobility. As a matter of fact, one of my jobs, my supervisor made it very clear that as long as he would hear, I was never going to go anywhere. Why? Because there's a difference between supervisors that have solid self-esteem, a good feeling about themselves and their desire to help others, and a team balance, right? Where the people come together, work together for a common goal and accomplish great things. And there are those that are very insecure, they're afraid of people that are hardworking and smart around them because they're for some reason afraid that they're going to take their job. And that is the first thing that kills a team and then can kill a company if it's left unchecked, right? So this term of quiet quitting was picking up steam like you wouldn't believe. And I was listening to all of your comments in the videos that we put out on them, and they were amazing comments. People that have started side hustles and been able to start entire new careers and then eventually leave their job and find financial freedom, but not only that, just straight up freedom, your own time. You are your own man or woman. You are making the calls. It's on you. And you can finally be that leader that you never found in the workplace. Well, now this is really interesting. I'm going to link the story below. I'm not going to read the entire thing because the first part of it is solid propaganda. As a matter of fact, I believe the whole thing is propaganda. And this is out of Fortune, and it's entitled this: Quiet Quitting Has a Polar Opposite. The FatFire movement of people working hard to retire early on a massive stash. Now, we're going to talk about this, but I have to tell you, there are people in companies and high levels that believe that this movement of quiet quitting is going to really affect their bottom line because they have for years been able to intimidate their employees. And I'll give you an example. There was a leader that I knew, can't call him a leader, a boss, that knew all of us for 5 years, but one day he came out and he said, there's a job position open if everybody wants to put in for it, but I'm going to tell you right now, your interview starts today. And I just couldn't believe that was his way of trying to get extra work out of his employees because quite frankly, he already knew who he was going to hire. Why? Because he'd worked with this group of individuals for years and years. If you don't know that and all of a sudden the next 2 weeks of your life is going to determine if you get that raise because you're going to get that promotion, but not based off of the last 2 years of your attitude and your work ethic, well, then you're an idiot to believe that is the case. And in this instance, nobody believed that. But for some reason, an insecure boss does believe that. So the whole story is about this guy, Joshua, 33 years old, and he's saving up a bunch of money. I'm just paraphrasing this story right now. And he's just crushing it, and then he retires at 33, right? Pretty much has no life. He's not married. Not normal, right? Okay, that's not the life any of us want to live. But this is where we're going to get to it right here. It says, after they tell the whole story to make it look really glamorous, while quiet quitting has dominated headlines and young workers flock to social media to vent their frustrations over the downsides of employment and capitalism, people like Joshua have instead turned to fat firing. Now, isn't that interesting that they use the term social media? And right here, excuse me, talking about the downsides of capitalism, actually what we are talking about is capitalism. Capitalism is allowing industry or you to fail or succeed. And you know what actually determines that? You, not anybody else. That's pure capitalism. See, what we actually have right now is a form of socialism in industry where we have companies that continue to make bad decisions, i.e. the auto industry. The auto industry went through multiple rounds of bailouts since the 1970s, and they're going to continue to get bailouts. The airline industries have gotten bailouts. As a matter of fact, the airline industries in mid-2000s, around 2004 to 2006, I believe, they actually were allowed to completely wipe away their pension fund and completely rob all of their employees. Now think about that. True capitalism, the judge would say, oh, no, you're not giving up the pension. You can give up your company. Go bye-bye. Go into receivership. And then let somebody else a good management team come in and fix everything, but you're not taking the pensions of the employees that worked very hard for that. That's capitalism. But you see, right now, there are people that are afraid, they're concerned that their employees, they're not going to be able to con them anymore into coming in early. You better be the first one here and the last one to leave. You better do more than what your job description says. You know, it's funny. You applied for a job to work a certain amount of hours for a certain amount of money with a job description. Yet the insecurity of leadership, and again, I can't call it leadership. The insecurity of bosses around the world have allowed this to creep in, but people are finally giving up. They're fighting back. And look at this. Now you're seeing the opposite. Like, we better start pushing out these kind of stories of fat firing all over the place. Check this out. It says, if quiet quitting is simply doing the minimum a job requires, in a quest for more equal work-life balance, fat firing advocates the opposite. It tells people to lean into work rather than lean out and hustle as much as they can to achieve the same thing most workers want: freedom. Put down in the comment section if you think this is a total pile of crap. Put a 1 if you agree with this and say, oh no, you should, what does it say right here? Let's go right. And hustle as much as they can to achieve the same thing most workers want: freedom. Yeah, after you've worked yourself to the bone, over and above, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with working hard and getting a promotion and going into positions where you know that you can make positive change, where you can actually make a difference, not only for yourself and your family, but for those that work with you and your company. Do I agree with that? 100%. But do I believe that there are many people in dead-end jobs that are not going to go anywhere because upward mobility is hampered due to the amount of people they already have in management, or just quite frankly, the way the business is set up, and that there's no place up, but all they're doing is hammering on you to do more, more, more? What do I think you should do? This is it. This is just life advice. Go find another job. There are companies out there that would love to have hardworking individuals, but the sad thing is most people try to move upwards in their company and they don't do these lateral moves, you know, from other company to other company. So it says right here, how does FatFire work? The online forum subreddit is filled with people discussing investments, sharing tips, and telling stories of getting fat fired the day when they retire in their 30s and 40s after having stockpiled millions of dollars in liquid and illiquid investments. So they're telling you to go take your money, work your butt off, and then go invest it, quite possibly lose it like people did in 2000 and 2008, when the stock market got cut in half twice. Described with the tagline, retire with a fat stash, fat firers try to retire with a budget that allows them to spend around $100,000 a year. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm the kind of guy that I can work 9 to 5 and have a side hustle on the weekends and use that side hustle to build up cash, build up wealth, use that money to invest. Don't kill myself on my 9 to 5 job. Focus on what I have control over, and that is my side hustle. That's how I made my money. I have always had a side hustle. As a matter of fact, starting back in the 6th grade, selling candy, all the way to having a baseball card shop, and then it just kept rolling into a real estate brokerage and then a construction company. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger. But my point being is that I always had something on the side from my 9 to 5 job. So I wanted to share this with you because I think, quite frankly, we are seeing a very interesting set of propaganda out here, or I think that they're very worried because there are people outside right now starting to crush it. And I think that's, again, how we take our country back. That's through owning small business and being entrepreneurs. All right, guys, I hope you got something out of this. I thank you so much for watching. With that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.